Data firm Cirium has ranked Air Canada last on its list of on-time airlines in North America once again. The firm says only 63% of Air Canada flights landed on time last year. WestJet not doing much better either, with just 69% of on-time flights in 2023. For more on what is behind these delays, we're joined by John Gradek, a faculty lecturer at McGill University. Thanks for taking the time for us today, John.
My pleasure to be with you.
So this isn't the first time Air Canada has made this list. What's behind these delays?
Oh, I think it's a question about how Air Canada has designed its schedule and how it deploys its aircraft. Air Canada has been working its fleet pretty hard over the last 12 months to try to maximize the amount of flights that they're operating, get as many seats in the air as they possibly can, and filling them up as much as they can with passengers paying, some pretty interesting airfares, whether it's in Canada or internationally. So Air Canada is maximizing the use of its assets, and when you do that, you run the risk sometimes that the aircraft are not available because of maintenance issues or other operational issues, and that seems to be the case with Air Canada in all of 2023.
So is the idea there that they're just too ambitious with their schedule?
I think they are. They're trying to basically be all things to all people. They've had some significant expansion of their flight schedule, particularly internationally. And they're building up the Montreal hub internationally. They're reinforcing Toronto. They're doing Vancouver international flights as well. So they are really positioning themselves as a strong international carrier. And the type of aircraft that are being used to deploy on those services are older airplanes. They have 777s that are over 20 years old, 330s that are the same age limit. And so those are pretty old aircraft that really need a lot of tender loving care, given the age that they've got, and they need some downtime to fix all the snags they get on these airplanes. So, they're not safety related snags. There are comfort issues. They are, customer service issues. But those airplanes really need a lot more care than the schedule that they've designed really allows them to have. So they're seeing the fruits of that excessive demand on those airplanes showing up in poor on-time performance.
I wonder what those delays mean for public perception. Would people, if they've got a couple options of different airlines to choose from, is that something that's on, people's minds?
I think it is. I think that what we're seeing, however, in Canada, it seems that that the airlines can do no wrong in as much as we don't see demand falling off for air travel. Air travel is as strong, if not stronger, than it was through all of last year. People are still buying. People are still flying. The fares are not getting any cheaper, except maybe potentially in Canada with some competition.
Hmm.
But people want to fly, and for me, it seems that on-time performance and the arrival of their scheduled uh, purchase really is less important than the availability of a seat. So people have taken on-time performance, built that poor on-time performance into their flight schedule, and are accepting that the flight will not be on time.
So if they're just accepting it, I guess there's no incentive to fix the situation.
I think there should be some incentive. I think that there should be some type of oversight of the system that we have in place to make sure that customer service and of which on-time performance is very specifically one of them. When you buy a ticket, you basically buy a schedule, and if that schedule is not being performed, it is, as far as I'm concerned, being deceptive to the customer that you're selling something that probably has got a high risk of not being actually flown. So there should be some oversight, and I'm asking the federal government to kind of examine the opportunity to see if there's something that can be done to, in fact, get these carriers to operate more on time.
Now, on the other side of things, Delta Airlines was number one with 85% of on-time flights. So is there anything that airlines can learn from Delta to get things going on time?
Delta's done a pretty good job, really, of ensuring that the schedule that they have has got operational integrity built into the schedule. So their schedules are not as tight. The airplanes have got enough ground time to basically recover from any irregular operations that they might have. And more importantly, the management team at Delta really values on-time performance. So it's really part of their culture that they will in fact make sure that airplanes running on time is a key element of their customer service. Air Canada has said that on-time performance is not something that we really value as much as other carriers. We're ready to accept somewhere around 65, 70, 75% as being an acceptable level of on-time performance. And I think that's a significant detriment to Air Canada in terms of market share.
And John, real quick, what's your tip for anyone who wants to avoid a delay?
Arrive early, have a backup plan, and make sure that you understand that don't plan something that's really close to your planned arrival time, because you'll need some buffer time to make sure that you take into account any delays that might happen.
Keep that buffer in mind. John Gradek with McGill University, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Have a great day. Take care.
You too.